was a rough weekend. Oh, and it's not because of anything particularly bad. My sleep schedule is just backwards now. So I finally got it to where I managed to get a decent nap in before the stream today. So I slept from 2 until about 6:30. You know, not great. That's not sleep, right? That's a nap. It's 4.5 hours. But the moral, or well, 6:45 ish, but still, the moral of the story is, my sleep schedule is currently completely fucked and bisected. I'm trying to fix it. And again, it was my own fault. It was all led back to staying up for the Brandon Herrera stuff, right? Especially as it got more and more exciting with Tony Gonzalez losing more and more. But now I've been paying the price ever since. I've been paying the price, trying to get everything sorted back to normalcy. Because I like going to sleep at like 10 and waking up at like 6. I think it feels good. You ready for St. Patrick Day? Oh, sure. Sure, I'm thankful. I'm so prepared for the St. Patty's Day. Oh. I got me shillelagh right on me and everything. Alright. Speaking of, I haven't gotten too much done on it. Again, as part of it is because of the sleep schedule, right? It says 5 pages, but I'm gonna say 4 is more accurate because we're right at the very bottom of the one page. I mean, that's why a lot of people celebrate Oktoberfest here for the beer. St. Patty's Day for the beer. Oktoberfest for the beer. uh, got the corned beef in the fridge. Potatoes washed. Cabbage chopped. Yeah, it'll be a lovely St. Patty's Day. All right. So I we'll do the end because I fixed up the ending of chapter 16 a little bit. I think it flows better. And then we'll go into chapter 17 called Infernal. Just one more thing for her to deal with in the world. Awakening to the side she never knew existed even 2 days ago. Whether she wished it or not, this would be her life going forward. But she had hope in the man she now stood beside. Even if he weren't truly a man. In the true sense. In the exacting sense, sorry. Even if he weren't truly a man in the exacting sense. She hoped beyond anything that her Arctic wolf would be there for her. And then we go into chapter 17, Infernal. The man paced around the confines of the chamber inside the mine. It had been the old foreman's office, built just inside before the main junction and highway underground. If he had to be pressed on the matter, he could say it wasn't the worst comforts he had experienced. A prison cell certainly took that honor. Yet he couldn't shake a strange feeling as that woman spoke to him. And the odd creature, or let's get rid of odd, let's do the horrid creature in the shed. He had come this far with her. It'd be foolish to question things now, and she had just provided him shelter and food. Even so, the pit of his stomach ached, and he had to keep nervously telling himself that everything was all right. Though now that he thought on the matter more, Cassandra looked a lot more frazzled and less stable than she had been. Something about the way she stood there and the casual way she looked at him as if not really seeing him. Such thoughts were soundly sent to the back as the door to the office opened and Cassandra stepped inside. She offered a curt smile, one that seemed more forced than natural, before she gave a nod of her head. "How did you sleep, Connor? I'm sorry that it is all the real comforts we have out here for now. The word choice seemed odd, but he couldn't place why at first. It made it sound like she had future plans for him, would be improving conditions for him. Yet the problem was her eyes, that looked slightly hazy and out of focus, while a strange intensity burned in them that made him shy away. It be fine, lass. True like. Nae need to put an effort on my behalf. I can look after myself, whene'er ye move against that feckin' dung pile o' a town, eh? This brought a smile to her face, but it seemed forced once again. But Connor was caught in a trap of a different kind. Oftentimes, when one felt like their usefulness was coming to an end and began to fear their own, they would become more pliant and try to seem less demanding. Don't be shy. At the very least, I need your assistance, Connor. Would you care to join me? Part of being overly pliant was willingly walking into the jaws of a predator in the hopes you could find an escape. I can indeed, lass. The man was still hesitant, but he dutifully followed her as she left the foreman's office and started heading for the main chamber. I was pleased to hear you sabotaged their bunker. After all, that would be the most obvious defensive position. I'm still surprised we managed to catch some townspeople in the outlying homes. Would have thought they would have come together completely. He could no longer see her face, but he was taking in the details of her, and part of that was the fact her hair was slightly matted. This made sense, though. She wasn't exactly living in a resort out here, and was constantly buried deep in guts and viscera. Aye, tat nae surprise me. I fear tat town was full of simple-minded cattle. More's like to do 'em harm instead of working in unison proper. This made Cassandra laugh while she raised a hand to cover her mouth. Cover her mouth a little. I see. Well, even if some have rallied to the bunker, the behemoth is nearly complete. Once it is done, we will attack the town with haste before they can devise any further defenses against us. You'll have to stick towards the back, though. I'm sure if you're spotted, they'll take a shot or two at you, and I cannot extend my shielding to you as well. That was strange. He thought for sure he was in dire trouble, but her words were putting him at ease. It was then he noticed the ornate dagger hanging from her hip. That I can do for you, lass. Also, must say, that be a fine dagger there. Looks proper menacing. This then brought her attention to it before she carefully lifted it from the hook it dangled from. The dagger itself was made from a bone condensed upon itself several times to form a magic blade. The grip was made of bits of spine fused together and wrapped in skin to give a firmer hold when used, especially when slick with blood. The back spine of the dagger had several teeth sticking up as if a jawbone were used to make it. Ah, this. Indeed it is. My patron taught me how to craft it. A rather clever bit of magic went into this. Who would have known how powerful rituals truly were? She offered a small smile at the dagger before returning it to hang from the ring, only now clearly made from a rib bone that had been impossibly bent around on itself. Well, perhaps I could get me one in the future. Would like that for sure. Once we take the bunker, I can certainly make that happen. We can consider it a trophy to our victory. Hopefully the first of many. Connor couldn't help himself and smiled at that thought. After all, who didn't want to engage with magics? It was a constant childhood fantasy to one day wield power and artifacts in such a manner. All the while, the thing lagging behind them carefully moved on its bare feet, ensuring that it made no sound with each footfall as it maintained pace. At last they came into the main chamber, where Connor got to lay eyes on the behemoth, a monstrosity made of stitched flesh and bone from at least a dozen different people. The smell, of course, hit him, but so too did the sight upset him as he covered his mouth and groaned. Oh, feck's sakes, that smell. Oh, Cassandra, you been inhaling tis scent the whole time? I should take ye out to a proper place when I can. I would like that. You shall certainly be close at hand, Cassandra said before she turned to look at Connor and offered a smile. What do you mean by that, lad? His words were cut off as the thing that had kept pace lunged. Its metal-clawed hands grabbed his arms and yanked them behind his back as he let out a howl of pain. It then hefted him up into the air as he turned his head back to look. There he could see the grotesque stag skull pulsating with energy, and hear the sudden shriek and cry of the little boy's head placed between the dead breasts. No, what the feck? The man kicked and flailed as he tried his best to squirm free, but the thing simply carried him closer to the behemoth. His mad desperation to get away was about to turn to pleading, but his words slurred into the distorted sounds of the dwarven tongue. Pladanadedes, Hakenstabi otiestana. Oh yes, Taya. Taya, not Tanai. Oh yes, Taya. This brought a shushing sound from Cassandra, who came up close to him, close enough for him to kick. Yet this was thwarted when the monstrosity drove him into the ground hard, buckling his legs and putting him on his knees. No more words, you drunken fool. Connor desperately started to beg quicker, his tongue still slipping now between the dwarven tang and the Rosentian rosari, words spilling into a quagmire of babble. Whoops. Oh, I didn't realize how close Rosary was to Rosari. Let's do Rosarian. There we go. This was quickly silenced when Cassandra grabbed at his head, ripping the simple stitched beanie from it and then pulling at his wiry hair. In one smooth motion, her right hand grabbed the dagger and brought it across his throat in a slash, causing him to gag and gurgle. Yet the creature did not release its hold, and instead it pulled his arms back more forcefully, pushing his head forward and letting the blood drip upon a sigil he had not seen. A crackling sound that seemed intermixed with laughter erupted throughout the chamber, the smell rapidly changing from one of rot and death to a putrid and stinging brimstone. As the last vestiges of Connor's life began to fall away, with the blood spraying out all across the chamber and seal, his limpening body was cast into the behemoth. As the dying man's form landed atop it, the skin began to pulsate and move, splitting itself open into orifices that had not been there to devour him. It was then that the behemoth's face truly began to form, an elongated thing that looked to be some kind of mastodon, yet with prickly spines instead of fur. Its eyes were black and charred, pulsating with fire between the seams, as it began to sit upright and started to rise from the floor. This abominable thing stood over 11 feet in height now, a towering figure of fear and repulsion. Its body began to pull in on itself, showing a gaunt and emaciated thing as it stretched out its absurdly long limbs and flexed its 5-knuckled digits on each hand that contained 4 fingers and 2 thumbs. Immediately, the monstrosity of acrid stench and ghastly appearance turned to look at Cassandra, who stared in complete disbelief. It was then the thing started to speak, a reverberant echo of a voice she had heard many times. Well done, little mageling. The voice was that of her patron, a thing that oft spoke to her in birdsong and whispers, now standing before her. Is that you? She had been the one to enact the betrayal on the slovenly fool, and yet a twinge of worry shot through her spine as she beheld not a behemoth, as was traditionally spoken of in necromantic circles, but a monster. This thing was a true horror. standing before her, and as it moved, each step it took fused the rock as if melting it, all while pus and drool drained from its elongated trunk.
Well ahead of schedule through your efforts. Truly a skilled practitioner of magecraft, and thus you have summoned me into this world. For that you have my thanks.
The beastly thing then made a mocking bow as that terrible laugh shook through its body and blew more detestable fluids across the floor. Its mannerisms did not put Cassandra at ease. Instead, she watched as the misery mother she had crafted before stepped forward and took to its knees in supplication.
What? Who are you, really? Me? Of course you would want to know, right? Ah, my name holds great power. I am Oganthos of the Burnished Horde.
Its words trailed off as its voice rose in celebration of its existence in this plane. This then made Cassandra realize just what she had done.
You are a demon, aren't you?
Oganthos laughed heartily, and before acknowledging her words, it turned its head to look at the pile of valuables she had gathered. Originally, she had thought it fuel for the ritual itself, but now she watched as the thing reached over and took up the coins, money, and jewelry in its strange hands, and let its trunk begin inhaling them.
Of course. I would not be the first demon you have summoned across the divide either.
Its free hand turned to indicate the misery mother, who remained prostrate before the immense form of the demon. At the same time as it consumed more treasures, its form began to solidify more, and its emaciated look began to fill out.
No, you can't be real. Hells are just a myth to frighten children. Ah, my home is very much real, though it is far more pleasant than would be described in your little children's tales. I, in fact, live in a luxurious estate on the lands of the Burnished Horde, and through my efforts I have elevated myself to a lord. All the pleasures that come from exuberant wealth that you could ever imagine. But there can always be more. Yes, far more. And thus I came to you.
Cassandra listened to his voice and watched as he turned and slowly began to settle itself down on the ground before her.
So you used me, just as I used that bumbling idiot.
The demon shook its head and offered its hand up as if to draw her focus and stop her train of thought.
You are far too harsh on yourself. You simply aided me, and I in turn aided you. Thus is the truth of the Hells, a contract formed between us. For your services, I granted you additional power. I would still very much enjoy to continue our mutually beneficial arrangements.
She could not understand the truth of what he was saying, nor the manipulations already being weaved.
I will help you destroy this town. I will help you raise an army. But I ask that you give me the things I desire most in turn.
And what would that be exactly?
Fortune, wealth, gold and money and trinkets and baubles. Feed me those things of value. I crave for them. I want them.
His words were so blatantly dripping with that need that she did not think to look beneath them, to realize that this thing's existence in this plane was an affront, and that the appetite of a demon could never be sated. And contracts are important to you? The question seemed reasonable, given she could feel the disparity in power between the two of them.
Of course. And I will continue to aid you and grant you more power. In fact,
the creature moved those terrible fingers on both hands and then reached out towards her.
Simply take my hand and take succor in my power.
She hesitated, for one turn had already been taken this day. Would she be the second? Yet as she looked around the chamber, she came to one inescapable conclusion. She could not hope to bring down this creature she had summoned, and thus needed to bide her time. Slowly she extended her hand out and placed it in the palm of Ogunthos, before immediately recoiling in pain. The pain did not end, though, and her body began to twist and contort. But soon enough, this passed. Let me try reading that sentence. The pain did not end, though, and her body began to twist and contort. But soon enough, this passed her by, and she managed to catch her breath. She was about to question what the thing had done before she looked at her arms and realized the definition of muscle in them had improved. As she stood, another fact came to her. I did another as. For she was taller, and her body moved with a far greater ease, like a burden had been lifted from her. So, too, were new ideas placed in her mind, and she realized the true strength of the blade now dangling from her side. It was not just a mere instrument for rituals, but an actual extension of the demon's power. It could be used to mend wounds, bring forth infernal fire, enhance her spellcasting, and act as a centering rod for more devastating and chaotic magics.
Enjoy that, my little bauble.
The great demon smiled as he watched his newly anointed warlock explore the strength he had bestowed upon her. She would be the first of a legion that would serve him and cast down the dreadlords of greed and that contemptible embodiment itself. After all, none of the denizens of avarice should have more than Ogunthos himself. To the point, the mask slipped for a moment.
Now, shall we go and claim that town in my name?
And that's what we have thus far. Also, welcome to the first true demon. Like, we had a demon in Guardians of Nature, but welcome to an actual, like, demon. One that didn't slip through the cracks and slowly form itself, but one that needed to actually be summoned into the world. Because it was too strong otherwise. Like, hellhounds are strong, but they can still kind of seep their way in, just like their old bodies could do back when they were Wolverine. Yeah. And again, obviously making clear that this is a demon of greed. Tasty agua. Ooh. Now, I turn it over to you, chat. What do you guys think? Do you think, do you guys like the introduction to Ogunthos? How do you think it came across? And also, how do you feel about Connor's ending? Like how the man met his fate. Ooh. All right, good. Yeah, because again, I wanted to set up that like Connor wasn't just a caricature. He was an unlikable piece of shit, right? That's true. I mean, I wanted to make it clear to the reader like what's happening, right? But I guess I could cut out a little bit of the manipulation. But it's the whole point of like it's made more clear in Piercing the Veil when they talk about demons and what they are. Is like demons only speak so that they can manipulate. Like you need to understand that like demons are on a whole other level. I guess I already made it obvious that he's manipulating things. Um, so let's get rid of the. I'm gonna get rid of this to the point the mask slipped, and instead do the have more than Ogunthos himself. We'll have that be the end there. Because we don't need, because we can just explain this, like his internal thoughts about how he was going to cast down the dreadlords of greed and that contemptible embodiment itself. Because remember, demons cannot tolerate that other demons have more than they do, right? They are the true embodiment, is what they believe. So the hells can't really work together. They only kind of move in a shared direction because they're seeking to fulfill and slake that whatever their sin is, right? You have these power dynamics through pure, again, it's pure might makes right. You know what I mean? With no morals, no ethics, or anything like that. Because Ogunthos isn't as powerful as the Dreadlords, isn't as powerful as the embodiment, he's not fighting it, right? Yeah, exactly. They all want to be the top dog. There is no, like, shared unison, like, oh, if we all work together, we can corrupt more people. They don't care about that. What matters to them is the things they corrupt are theirs. They corrupted them, right? Like, oh, I don't care that, like, Exobla over there corrupted 15 of them, and then combined with my 10, we've got 25. I don't give a shit about that. All I know is my 10 are more important. So that's the way they operate, right? So even in the Grand War, that's kind of the big handicap the demons have. The unfortunate buff the demons have is one, they're nigh limitless. There's almost an unending tide of them. But the second buff is the fact that as technology improves, so Averil is the universe that's in Averil, by the time we get here to Saren and everything like that, by the time we're going to get to the 5 primes, Averil already has some exceptional magic tech, right? They have full-on, like, starships and things like that using shield magics and stuff. The demons get those by default. Basically, any technology that the mundane plane has, the demons will get as well. That just as time marches on, they don't need to do any advancements. They don't need to think on it. It just becomes a corrupt version of it. So that's a big buff that they have. So it's one of those things like our new, beautiful new, like, laser weapon and stuff like that. It's like, well, they get lasers and stuff now too. They don't, there's not, you can't, like, beat them in an arms race. Yeah. Which the Grand War against the Hell of Sloth was actually far more drawn out than anybody ever expected it to be. Because the Sloth Hells would basically, they had that initial explosion outwards, but that was more like releasing pressure, and then they just dug in. They just bunkered basically everywhere because they didn't want to leave. They're like, I found my spot. And they just couldn't. It was like, essentially think of it as, instead of having them like these great charges of swaths of demons, stuff like that, you have to basically go in every nook and cranny and root them out. You had to go every little floorboard, pop every little cabinet open. Imagine the sheer grinding molasses of slowly pushing them back into containment. And that's why they're like, don't underestimate. Don't underestimate, like, even though sloth is one of the easiest hells to deal with, don't underestimate it, because they are a fucking nightmare in a different way. That is the slow grinding attrition. It's like wading through the swamp while having lead snowshoes on your feet. It's just a misery. A pure misery mire. And remember, sloth become hyper aggressive when they're interrupted, right? Because they're not engaging in their sin of like just pure apathy and everything like that. When they don't get to engage in their sin, they violently lash out. So it's not like, oh well, I'm just gonna roll the baby, in the burrito, and we're gonna keep pushing him back towards containment. No. The moment you disturb a thing of sloth's slumber, it violently crashes out. So you're like basically dealing with thinking landmines everywhere. Yeah. Well, prosecutor, we just did a bit of the reveal of the demon here that got summoned by Cassandra in Den of the Arctic Wolf. Yeah, and again, we're talking about how the hells work and how essentially there's not a unified effort even in the Grand Wars. It's a big debuff they have because all the demons, all the demonic things are thinking about themselves first and foremost, right? They have no concept of teamwork whatsoever. Like they all just kind of charge in the same direction because they're trying to slake their particular sin. And that was why the Grand War against the shifting hells of sloth was so unexpectedly annoying and took so fucking long. Because sloth didn't attack outright. It was more like they burst forth as if releasing pressure from a valve. And then once they landed, they're kind of like, here's good enough as is. So then they just like slump down and they act like a weight everywhere. And you have to like dig them out. Like every crack, nook, cranny, every cabinet, you're basically digging for super hyper aggressive landmines the moment you set them off. So that's what dragged that Grand War out for so long. The other ones are more obvious, like Envy's War and things like that, of trying to manipulate and scheme and infiltrate. They didn't have like grand lines. They would try to sneak in and pretend to be things they weren't, Then you would have like Pride. Pride was probably the easiest of them all because they were just full charge and, I killed 15, I'm better than you who only killed one. But yeah. So yeah, this was our introduction to the demon Oginthos, who is a demon of avarice. Um, okay. Yeah, changing a little bit of things. Also, this is where Connor gets his comeuppance. It's where he gets his just desserts. He gets smoked. He gets smoked. He's Connor isn't going to be in Den of the Arctic Wolf 2. Ah, he ain't going to be in the sequel. Oh, Master Samwise just did a new video. How Avatar, The Last Airbender, wrote evil. And then it shows Azula on there, and evil is cowardly. Fucking true. Fucking true. Oh, this reminds me. Chat, we have cool potential coming games soon. Yeah. So it got posted in Kree's Discord. Man, he ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm referencing. Nice. Alright, so this chat got posted to me in Kree's Discord. And this is, like... I don't even know what to call it. It's like a survival RPG thing.
Priest? Was.
There we go.
I stopped believing in fairy tales. Damn. Tell me something. Those markings, they keep you safe from what's out there?
Not from what's out there. From what's in here.
That blood's running heavy, man. You want me to wipe it?
Don't bother.
Wonder why somebody recommended this to me.
You should probably run.
And then again, I actually like the kind of crusty nature of the pre-alpha gameplay. I actually like it. Like, you tell they're going pure mechanics focused first. And I really appreciate that that's what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I wishlisted it because, yeah, why? Well, one, I was gonna do it anyways. I wonder why. I wonder why I potentially was gonna do it anyways. But no, I like the concept of it. I like the concept. Team up or strike out alone to hunt an eldritch gloom fiend in a city crawling with horrors. Channel corruption and transform into a monstrous grim spawn for devastating bursts of power. But beware. Madness is patient, and you look delicious. Survive the run, take the prize, no one leaves unchanged. Yeah, so they're describing it as it's going to be an open world kind of thing. Open world survival game. So, I am very interested. Very, very interested. Another rolling bandages around the forearm simulator. No. Like I said, the pre-alpha gameplay is crusty, but I kind of like that. There's like a charm to it. You know what I mean? Like they're like, here, we're showing you what we've got. I don't know if it's going to be a roguelite thing or not. They don't. Let's see. Apparently, it's got stealth, gore, dark, Souls-like, blood, violent, cinematic, difficult, stylized, combat, third-person, arcade, atmospheric, PvE. Co-op. Yeah. No mention of roguelite stuff. Beep. Okay. By the way, we are waiting. We can't do it today, so I'm going to do it tomorrow. But that Starship Troopers games comes out today, but it's going to come out at like noon, I think. I really hate Steam's like in so many hours. They need to just tell you outright it launches here. You know what I mean? That's what they need to do. Don't do this. It launches in 2 hours, and then what they actually mean is like that other one when it says launching in an hour, it's actually another hour on top of it, so it's technically in 3 hours. I hate that. Hate it. I've been kind of casually keeping an eye on it. I've been casually keeping an eye on the Rogue Core stuff. I don't know why. Deep Rock Galactic, I've tried it so many times. How many hours have I put in Deep Rock Galactic trying to just get it to vibe? 19 hours I've put into Deep Rock Galactic, and I just cannot vibe with it. I have tried so much. Yeah, like I said, I've tried. I just can't. I just can't for whatever reason. Number 2. We watched The Bad Guys 2 this weekend. And it was fantastic. It was better than the first movie in every way. Like, I genuinely loved The Bad Guys 2. It was so fucking good. No, not Prime Video. Don't go to that site. Like, everything about it there was a lot more fun to it. They put a ton more effort into stylization, the visuals and everything. Like, I don't think the first Bad Guys looked bad at all either. But they did like animation style changes and stuff like that for like comedic timings and beats and stuff. It was actually really, really well done.
Monsters.
Hey, I want to get to one of the fun ones.
Wow. Did you just say monsters? He did. I wouldn't have done that. You like monsters?
I'm trying to get to
I'll show you a monster.
this is the kind of stuff I think is like I was so amused by. Right? Oh, hold on. No. Turned a high-style Ocean's 11 into a spy movie for the sequel. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I like those like little fun things. Yeah, Diane Foxington is still a smoke show. Who would have guessed? Right? Who would have possibly guessed?
An ex-con.
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry. Do I have a concussion or is
the governor flirting with me?
Hmm. Hmm. I want to get to one of like the animation style changes.
You two, backstage. Remember, we're dealing with a master of deception.
Hold on, I want to get to the.
Vanish like smoke. He could be.
Oh no, too.
There he is.
when they go looking for Snake. This is why I want to show like one of the animation style changes right here. This was so fucking good. This was so good. There he is. Look at him.
You know everything. How did you find
Ow! How did you find out? Oh my god. That was our only phone. Take the belt off. I can't get it off. Take it off. I can't get it off. Oh, and I actually I loved the little thing. I'm not going to do any more of the thing, but I love this movie. It was fantastic. I enjoyed all the character stuff in it. All the recurring characters were great. All of the new characters were great. So I don't want to go any more spoilers with it than that, but I highly recommend it. Like I said, the animation changes they put in for dramatic effect are fantastic. Then, unfortunately, we're going to go to the other end of the spectrum. There is a show, I talked about it in Kree's Discord, called Nausea, right? The premise of Nausea is that the main character wakes up with amnesia aboard a ship and he's stuck in a werewolf game. For anyone that doesn't know, werewolf game, the other traditional name for it is Mafia, right? But werewolf is the original one. It was an old French video game, French party game, where some amongst the group are the werewolves, and then the townspeople have to figure out who's who. He's stuck in a werewolf game for real, but he's aboard a ship and everything like that, and the character designs are garish. I think it looks ugly. I love the premise, and it actually has really good explanations of how you should actually play werewolf. Like if you want to use logic, and it explains how logic works, right? They're explaining how you can deduce this from this bit of information from that. Like why you shouldn't try, if two people claim engineer, why you shouldn't vote either one of them out. And why one of the engineer is actually safe for at the start. Because there can only be one engineer, so one of them has to be the monster, right? One of them has to be El Crichora. But if they, so you're like, okay, it's a 50-50 shot to get the monster now. It's also a 50-50 shot to get the engineer, and the engineer is very powerful. You don't want to lose the engineer. But the monsters won't attack the engineer either, because once an engineer is killed in the warp, so when they go to warp, the monsters can move around, but people can't. But once a monster kills the engineer, you know now that person was a human. Therefore, the other person that claimed engineer is now the monster. So now they lose. So you're stuck with this Schrodinger's engineer and Schrodinger's monster for a round. And they explain the logic of why people choose what they choose and so on and so forth. And it's a really good like system. I actually find this sort of stuff like fascinating, and I like the fact that they're teaching people, the viewer, to like use their brain. The problem I have with it, this is the main character. Okay? You have what, like 11 different colors, and then even more because the gradients also cause different colors. And his outfit is so like awful. Genuinely so. Because it's that problem that people have with, in sci-fi future, we need sci-fi future clothing and stuff like that. And they always make the most ridiculous things, like in The Fifth Element, where she just had nothing but belt straps for clothing. I was like, what? What? So this is the main character. I think he looks hideous. I don't like any of the characters. These are some of the other characters to kind of show you what I mean. They're just like... The character designs aren't like memorable. They're more like eyesores. But then you'll have more traditional characters. Oh, I'm sorry. Spoiler warning, this is one of the gross designs, because this dude wanted to be a cat so bad that he actually fused a cat's head and a cat's body into his neck. Yep, that's a thing. That's a thing. And it looks way worse in motion. But then you have more traditional characters. Again, little garish outfit, but look, he's more traditionally like handsome and everything like that, and he looks like a character. So does she. She looks like a character. Ignore the coloration in this thing at the moment. Whenever the AI speaks, it color filters the whole image. Right? In the prismatic, grimdark future, everyone is a forget. Yes. And so the premise is basically it's werewolf for real. They have to figure out who the monsters are. The monsters will try to destroy and kill the people and everything like that. And you have different roles that can pop up and stuff like that. He is stuck in a time loop. So even though he's won one of the games, the time loop started over. Even though he got to be like, yes, I can live happily ever after. We know who the monster is now. And we saved all three of these other people are now alive with me. Like, we get to move on. And then it resets. And he's like, what the fuck? What? So that, he kind of has like a moment of like grim realization that, no, the thing is resetting. Right? The thing reset on you. I like the concept of it and everything, and I like the characterization. I don't like the dialogue because they do the cringy like, I'm not a man or a woman. I am asexual. It's like, okay, vote them out. Get them out right now. I have no such attractions, therefore I can put aside my biology. It's like, ugh. But, okay, here's what's interesting about the time loop, right? Because he has the same exact thought that everybody has. Oh, I just loop back in time. Okay. So, because I loop back in time, therefore, I know exactly who the monster is. And then he's wrong. Because he's not looping back to the same timeline. He's branching down a different timeline. He's getting to reset. And then the third time he resets, now there are more people and there are two monsters instead of one. Oh, I agree. Oh, I agree. I agree with you so much. The animation is awful. Like I said, the concept is so good. I want somebody else to take this and do something with it. Let me show you the animations, chat. When we talk about like the animation quality and everything, let me show you what we're working with here. Yeah, and he also meets other people that are also looping. Because all of these people, there is a version of them that is also looping down their own timelines, and they're all trying to find the escape. How they get out of the constant Groundhog's Day. But it's not normal Groundhog's Day because you're not actually repeating the same day. No, you're repeating the same hell, but different, but some of the variables have changed. But this is the stuff we're talking about here with Ravelon. Like, look at this.
この中にグノーシアが。
は、ついにボロが出たじゃないか。
It's a weird pseudo 3D thing.
記憶喪失にして。
As Ravelon says, it's pseudo 3D. It is so not pleasant. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. Because I genuinely like the premise of the show. I actually do. So what's done in the new Berserk? Oh, no! Oh. At least the new Berserk doesn't have awful character designs, you know? Right? They don't have these character designs. Like, dude with a cat. No, I need you guys to understand how off-putting this is. Let me see if I can find the gym scene. Unfortunately, there's a woman who's scantily dressed in it as well. But I'm going to find the start of the gym scene. Oh. And his glove. What is with, like, future people and they're like, we need our gloves to be retarded. Look at this. His glove comes around the back of his hand and does all of his fingers, but it exposes his palm and his thumb. Like, why? 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 Just why? Why? Gloveless fingers, yes. It's so like ugh. I'm trying to find the gym scene. Again, we have to be careful because of the other girl who's there, but she can't just be a normal girl. Suddenly she has a bunch of like lines come all over her. And it's because on her planet they feed children to the mold monster so that the mold will like come to them as like a mutually beneficial parasite. Why are you gay? Who says I am gay? You are gay. I'm going to try to get to the point where he's running on the treadmill with the cat. Symbiotic slime mold that kills anyone else. It's like, oh, fuck off. She just dominates too much of the scene. No. Because you need to see this horrific abomination in motion. I wish I could, like, block this. How can I cock block this from you guys? Because obviously they're, like, trying to use her as, like, a distraction from, like, the horrific abomination that he is. You know? Okay, I can't get a scene where he's actually running and you can see the cat body running. This is look. the cat body's down here on its own little treadmill, and he's running, and the cat body's running too. And he's got a hose that hooks up. There's all his nerves and oxygen and everything. This is just, it is grotesque, right? It's grotesque. It's genuinely grotesque. Ugh. Like, see, I think this is well thought out to a point. The problem is that they try too much to be like, the future is kooky and weird. What? And it's like, I hate that. I hate that aesthetic. I hate that sensibility thing. It's like, again, you have more traditional looking characters. If I can show the Shrine Maiden. Because the Shrine Maiden is the most obviously, like... The Shrine Maiden is the most obviously, like, traditional, classical look of all of them. Oh, here you can see her in the background. Yeah, exactly. Don't include body horror for no reason. But look, this is the Shrine Maiden, right? That looks actually sensible, right? And she has a paper, air quotes, paper fan, but it's a hologram, right? She spreads those two, and it gives a hologram effect that's used to actually move the air. Okay. Futuristic and yet remaining practical. Holy shit. Holy shit. Wow. This is what you should go for, right? For like future tech. It's like, okay, it keeps a little bit of the old classic thing of like having a hand fan to wave at herself, but it's done with hard light now instead of being paper itself. Okay. Again, it's a bit of a flex. It's not 100% practical because, again, it could malfunction. You could run out of power and everything. But it serves a practical purpose. It's just, ugh. And no, I haven't. Have you read the sequel volumes to Ghost in the Shell? The ones that weren't adapted in anime? No, I have not. I have not. Now, on the flip side... another anime I have actually been watching, or trying to watch, because it's one of those ones where I keep turning it on, and then I'm doing other stuff, and I have to keep looking back and be like, what did he just say? And then go back, stuff like that. I'm not doing myself any favors with it. But I have begun the grind, chat. The grind has begun. I have begun watching the legendary I'm almost to the end of season 1. I have begun the grind. And I made sure I looked up like which one is in which order and which one we should do first. So yeah, we started Fate Zero. And I like it a lot. Like, I like it a whole lot. It is genuinely, like, it's genuinely really good. I like the characters in it. I like to hate some of the characters in it, and I always find that as, like, a good thing. Like, they have an actual irredeemable monster. Castor and his master are utterly vile. Utterly vile. They don't shy away from the children are not safe in this. Like, at all. Yeah. I saw the worm pit Yes, I've seen the Worm Pit. I'm almost at the end of season 1. Almost. What let me check. What episode am I on? I'm on episode 10. 10 of 13. And I'll go into season 2. But yeah, children are not safe in this. And what Castor does to that one poor boy, oh my God, to kind of like reveal how evil he truly is. He tells the kid that he can escape if he walks through that door. So this happens. All you have to do is walk through that door, kid. By the way, his master is a pedo that enjoys hurting little girls and boys. Like, yeah, they're both monsters, and you're absolutely rooting for them to get fucking clapped. You are rooting for them to get absolutely destroyed. They are both irredeemable monsters. Like they make sure every time that they're on screen, they make sure like you remember these two need to go. Like, they literally show him like curling a little boy's fingers stuff like that as the little boy's like spasming and stuff like that because he had a nail driven through his palm. And then it zooms back and you realize he's posing them like they've been crucified to pillars. Multiple children. And he's like, he needs to go. He gotta go. Get him right now. And what's funny is that the game, the Grail War declares that he needs to die and they should all come together, and they don't. And at first, like, I can understand why people would be frustrated with that, but it makes logical sense. You're going to have to battle Castor, who is a scumbag, vile piece of shit, but he's fucking strong. So you're going to weaken yourself, and then the other Grail people fighting for the Grail can come and kill you. So it's one of those things like, hey, put aside all your differences and work together to kill Castor because he's an actual monster. But you have to worry about the knife being plunged in your back. And we literally see that when they're going to go fight Castor. Like, as they're fighting Castor, as King Arthur and the spearman. Who's the spearman? He's the Viking guy. The Viking guy from Myth. The one who had the twin spears. His cursed spear and his normal one. I can't remember his fucking name. Yeah, he's they're fighting side by side, but at the same time, the Vikings' master goes and tries to murder King Arthur's master while they're trying to stop Castor. It's like, yeah, so betrayal happens everywhere. And it makes sense because the Grail can apparently grant any wish. Any wish whatsoever. Whoever gets the Grail during each Grail War gets a wish, and it is granted. Now, the person who controls King Arthur, they have said, and it has been repeated multiple times from multiple different people in that faction, that they want to save the world. Which I don't know what their end wish would be, but we've seen that he is willing to go to any lengths to get the Grail wish so he can save the world. Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, it is. They don't shy away from how cursed this can be and why there are people that should not have it.
Woofta.
Yeah, suppose. I guess that's the key thing. Supposedly, and also all of these people that come back are literally people from myth and legend. It's very interesting. Like again, we have King Arthur, we have Gilgamesh, we have King Arthur, Gilgamesh, we have the Viking guy I can't remember. I don't know who Berserker is yet. So don't tell me. Like, don't tell me who Berserker is. But again, we're finding out like each of the people, this is who they are, right? And you have the King of Conquerors. What was his name? It was Iskander? Yeah, Iskander, the King of Conquerors. Then you had I can't look it up either because I know they'll automatically tell me who Berserker actually is, and I don't want to know who Berserker is. Oh yeah, they make that pretty clear because Castor is the monstrous dude from the Joan of Arc stuff. So yeah, and Gilgamesh is a monstrous piece of shit too, super fucking arrogant, believes he's the king of heavens and stuff like that. Like, because again, to every myth. So good luck. Oh. But yeah, I am super fucking curious who Berserker is. I'm trying to think of, and again, I'm only on episode 10. Don't tell me who it actually is. Please, please. That's all I ask. Don't tell me. But I'm trying to think of like any myth or legendary figures who like, what's the way to put it? Fights so crazedly, but doesn't have like a weapon to himself. He can just take things. Like he's the ultimate like tavern brawler, right? Anything in his hands becomes a weapon, and he's a monstrous, wildly good and unpredictable fighter. But I can't think for the life of me who would fit that the best in like legends and lore and myth, you know? Unless we get no, because then it would be the Rod, right? It wouldn't be the Monkey King. It wouldn't be Beowulf because of the sword. And I don't know if the armor is important or not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if him being armored the way he is important to figuring out who he is. Because Gilgamesh doesn't really look like Gilgamesh, right? Iskander doesn't really look like Iskander. and King Arthur is a woman. So I don't know if the way he looks is supposed to be a clue on who he could possibly be. Yes, we are, Rapar. I started Fate/Zero. I'm on episode 10 of season 1. It's one of those ones where I have to keep stopping and like what'd they say? Yeah. At least one of the good ones? Oh no. Well, that's troubling. Gilgamesh before he chilled out and became a better person was crazy. Still can't believe we got new Gilgamesh chapters before a new Game of Thrones. Well, I can understand George R. R. Martin's thinking, right? You had a really beloved book series, right? And you put a lot of your heart into it. It gets adapted and people like it and love it, in fact, at first. But then the creators of that adaptation start just taking the cliff notes and making things up themselves and ruining it, right? I tried to watch the new Fate series. It was impenetrable. I have heard that you need to know like everything, right? Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Ravelon. So you've had this where it's exploded in your face, not from your own actions, but because two bumbling idiots who we call Dumb and Dumber destroyed it. Right? They cast it into the fucking fires, all because they thought they were better than you as the original writer. I understand that's a pretty heavy blow, you know? That's pretty rough. But I liked a lot of the preview chapters from Winds of Winter. I thought they were genuinely good and interesting. It's a huge fucking shame, right? Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like I'm explaining why like that motivation could be fucking killed, right? That's pretty fucking brutal to have happen to you. Yep, I agree. Like I said, I agree. I think that's just one aspect of it. I also think he doesn't, because of the way he writes, I don't think he can do a heroic ending. Right? To bring down, to stop the White Walkers and everything like that. I don't think he can do it. Oh, absolutely. Like George R. R. Martin himself said, they could have done like 11 seasons of it. Easy peasy, maybe 12 seasons. But they just rushed it. They rushed it and they removed side characters and they made people die that shouldn't have died, and it just bleh. Bleh. They got too obsessed with having the episode 9, like episode 9 being this is the grim one. They got too obsessed with it. And they tried to do that every single season, even if it wasn't appropriate. No, Rapar, again, now I will push back against that in particular. what's Aragorn's tax policy is an actually genuinely interesting question. Because the whole point is like, will he actually be a good ruler? There's a difference between being the good king and being a good ruler. Like, how is he going to rebuild Gondor? Because you're going to need to rebuild. They got fucked. What are you going to do? How are you going to serve the people and everything like that? It's not really answered because it wasn't as important in what J.R.R. Tolkien was going to tell. But George R. R. Martin has a point. Like, that's what makes Frieren so interesting, right? It's literally that question, what is Aragorn's tax policy, is literally Frieren. And what makes it such an interesting show. Because the Demon Lord being defeated isn't the end of the story. Life still has to go on. And plus, I like Frieren's narrative styling of, so and so many years after the death of Himmel the hero. Hey, Grinus. Yes, he oftentimes showcases that idealism can lead to ruination, right? That's kind of a theme. I know a lot of people call George more of a cynic, and he is more cynical than Tolkien was, for sure. But he's not as cynical as you would expect. There are good people in the world. There is hope in the world. There are people trying to correct things. It's just oftentimes they do it in misguided ways, or they do it and it blows up in their face. Not because, like, they this is just the universe being cruel. No, they make mistakes along the way. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, welcome, Grindus. We were talking about The Bad Guys 2. Fantastic movie. Like I said, even better than the first one. So that was great. A awful anime with a great premise, but the characters are hideous. The animation is terrible. Just ugh, bleh, bleh, bleh. And got body horror grotesquerie as well. Then we start talking about Fate Zero and stuff. Idealism with pragmatism is good. Idealism for the sake of idealism is awful. Yes, I agree. And I'm looking forward to, by the way, how Cassandra's going to meet her end. I'm looking forward to how she's going to meet her end. I disagree, Ravelon. I find it to be an interesting question. Again, it's not important. It's unimportant to what the story Tolkien was telling. But what I like is, like, what happens after? What happens after, Sauron is defeated? What comes next? Where do we go from here? That's why I like Frieren so much. Because, like, we could have had a traditional anime about the journey to bring down the Demon Lord. We've already done that. Now we're experiencing what happens after. Because the Demon Lord is gone doesn't mean the world is suddenly safe and everything's perfect and rainbows and happiness forever. No, that's understandable. Like I said, I don't mind people disparaging him because I don't think he's ever going to finish the books now. I'm done on the Cope train. I don't think he's going to finish them ever. I think what happened to him because of the Game of Thrones show kind of soured him on the whole thing, and he was already, like, very carefully tending to it as it was. So when the cliff notes were taken and they butchered it and botched it the way they did and it blew up spectacularly, I don't think, I don't think he's going to finish it. It's like bringing up GDP when your population is being replaced by third world mud people. It's unimportant in comparison to the main issue that must be addressed. No, like I said, I think Reconstruction is a very interesting issue. That's the whole thing of like, how are you going to do Reconstruction? What are you going to do? Are you going to levy the taxes against the people to pay for the Reconstruction, or are you not? Like, what kind of good king are you going to be? Are you going to be a good king that's firm in this time that needs Reconstruction, then loosen the reins? Or are you going to let idealism extend out the suffering longer and longer? Because you don't want to put a burden on the people. Like, do you put a heavy burden for these initial couple years to get things back on track and then lessen that burden, or not? Again, I find that to be a very fascinating question. I actually like those kind of stories, right? I like those type of ideas. That's why I find the question, I don't find it absurdist at all. I don't find it like should be mocked or anything. I'm like, no, that would be a good question. How is Aragorn going to handle the reconstruction of Gondor? Now that Sauron is gone. Now that you have to rebuild all the terror that happened to you. Yep. I know. Again, I would love to know, but I don't think Martin's ever going to finish. Like, I agree with you guys. I don't think he's ever going to finish. His point was the afterwards thing. Like, what do you mean, Ravelon? Like, that was his point. He's not talking about, like, the journey of Aragorn. He's not talking about the start of Lord of the Rings. Like, he's talking about the end. Like, what comes next? What's he going to do? How does he function? That's an interesting question. How do you function now that it's all over? Also, I do not agree. I do not agree that trying to do a good job and failing is better than not even trying. I don't agree with that sentiment, because there are people that let idealism get in the way and they cause things to get way worse. We know he can warg into Ghost because that was already in the books, right? So we already know that's a possibility. But I don't know how, again, because we don't have Winds of Winter. I don't know how, if John gets resurrected because of it, now with the Divine Mandate, he's just basically like, okay, fucking stop me then. Or what, right? Yeah, exactly. I agree. I agree, Dimitri. It's the same thing. There's a lot of unknowns. I find the question interesting in and of itself, right? I don't get people being so dismissive or derisive about it. I'm like, no, it's a genuinely interesting question. Like, it's the whole thing of like, has he been actually trained to rule? What kind of ruler will he be? What will he do for his people now that the big threat is done? Now that the cleanup has to begin, right? But if you intentionally make things worse, it's a guarantee. Again, I'm not talking about intentionally making things worse. I'm talking about we're going to increase our tax burdens now here at the start so we can pay for constructing the roads and everything like that, getting everyone back on, up on their feet, rebuilding the bridges, like getting houses and everything working, and then I will lift those burdens from you. Like, as everything gets stabilized, we will lift those burdens. This will be the tough times so that we can we can get things back to normal. I find that more the logical thing that should be done. Not extending out the suffering more and more and more and more. because you don't want to be a burden on the people. Like, this is one of those things where everybody's got to tighten their bootstraps. It'd be also the other thing, too, is don't also be two-faced about it, right? Like, you're tightening it on everybody else, but then you're still feasting like a king. No. Be the actual, like, inspiration. Be like, no, I'm not eating either. Like, I'm eating Popper's food as well because we're in the tough times right now. We're all coming together to do this shit. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Like, find consultants, find advisors, and everything like that. Like, Legolas is probably going to fuck off to the Undying Lands, right? So you can't really have him. But he would have been, like, I would have picked him as an advisor, like, pretty quickly. uh, Obviously, Gandalf, same thing. But, yeah. Hang on, I've got a... Part of my, one of my talons is fucked up. Let me fix it. Ew. Hate how much that hurts. Still has his elf wife. True. Hmm? Yeah, we're in this together versus it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Yeah, that kind of shows your true character, right? Like, I understand if the king gets a little better food. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's on hardtack and soup and stuff like that. I get that, and then the king gets, like, instead of hardtack, he gets fresh bread. It's like, that's not a thing. You know what I mean? That's like, okay, yeah, the king gets a little better food. That's nothing to complain about. It'd be if the king was having like 5-course meals every meal. You know what I mean? Then I'd be like, okay, yeah, fuck him. But if the king is getting fresh bread and a little bit heartier stews and stuff like that, that's not something to complain about. Because clearly, like, he's a king. He could have had his fucking banquet halls and things like that. But no, he's eating far closer to the peasantry, right? And you want a king like that to keep his strength up. You want a king like that to continue being in the leadership position. Yeah, rank hath its privileges. Rank hath its privileges. Another thing too is, like, I wouldn't show the king like doing hard labor because you don't want to. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to show the mandate of heaven, right? During my campaign, during the king's, especially his sword, humility above all. Yeah, that's a good motto. But again, I wouldn't have the king doing hard labor, right? But I'd have him show up to work sites and him have, like, assigning the appropriate people to the positions they need to be in, you know? That's what I would do. So he's still, that way you keep that little bit of separation. They're still in charge, but they're visible to the common people. They're actually out there visiting, doing things. They're not just staying all the way back at the castle. They're coming out and looking and inspecting things for themselves and being like, well, okay, I want to put more effort here into getting those bridges up and running so we can get more food supplies of that, blah, 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 stuff like that, right? Yeah. But you don't want to have them doing the grueling labor. You don't want them to be down in the trenches and everything, because you don't want to instill the ideal that, like, anybody else could do the job of ruling. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is the other concept. Actually, all right. So as Ravelon says, I'm gonna go off of this in particular, right? Trying to live like common people is not a good idea. Common people struggle to survive. Nobility doesn't. They have different struggles. Trying to experience struggles of commoners is just tourism. Mm-hmm. And again, while you're there wasting your time and doing all the manual labor, when you could have been assigning people that were better skilled at the job, right? Now, in my book, His Majesty the Dragon, so he doesn't, like, let's put this. He is the undisputed ruler of Drakor. Like, there's no question about it. He keeps himself above things, but he's constantly out and, like, investigating things, having advisors look into things, building these new projects. Things like the bathhouses all throughout the kingdom. And he has multiple reasons why he's focusing on bathhouses in particular. One, the health of his people will improve, but two, it brings the community together, so there's more of a shared, unified, this is our in-group. 3, it allows his mages to go out and experience the kingdom that they will eventually be a part of once they leave the spheres and schools that are teaching them the magics that they have. But another aspect is like grass isn't always greener. His struggles are of a different kind compared to the farmer. And we get to see that from perspectives like Jonathan Carpenter. And I know I made the character and then I realized John Carpenter, he's gonna do some great movies in the future. Great movies. But no. But you get to experience from Jonathan Carpenter. Jonathan Carpenter's family gets killed by the Ravens when they come over from the other kingdom that are basically waging a guerrilla war against Drakor. So you get to see from his perspective, like the boots on the ground thing and his struggles and things like that. But then you go back to Meraxis and he's constantly like having to deal with those incursions into his kingdom and how to maneuver there, while also having to worry about the other kingdoms that are pushing in and trying to find weaknesses and cracks and keeping them happy. And then on top of that, when he ascends to godhood, it's not suddenly like, oh, I'm a god, I can do anything. He's got all new worries that he's got to deal with. Especially now that he has to actually start taking care of people's souls. Like, now that he has to create an actual, like, divine kingdom, and he has to manage people's souls, his whole new schedule is around, like, oh my god, I've got to think about the afterlife now. Like, oh, fuck. I can't just, like, not only do I have to continue running Drakor, but now I got to think about the afterlife. I have not listened to the song. And obviously we can't because YouTube. To read Stormlight, the most feared warlord takes his magic power, armor, and weapons to dig a latrine, shocked at what the instruments of war could do to ease common lives. Oh, Merax is very overworked. But he's built with that, like, he's built different to where, like, that doesn't break him. In fact, that drives him more and more and more, right? And he has that gift, the same thing that Severus has, where he can split himself into multiple different variants of himself, right? All the souls piling up in the closet. Probably should do something about that. Yeah. So again, remember, and where we are here in stuff like Den of the Arctic Wolf, Guardians of Nature, Piercing the Veil, Seekers of Redemption, Beneath the Canopy, Grey Wolf, House of Desires, and everything like that. All of that stuff is long after he is personally himself stitched together what the spirit realm is, and this interconnected nature of the mundane and the spiritual. He wanted it to be more like normal people could have a chance to interact with the other side and vice versa, without falling into the bureaucracy that a lot of Asian mythologies have, where the divine courts and everything like that. He falls into the divine courts trap because, again, he's not perfect, but he falls into that trap, but he finds ways to, like, have release valves, so you don't have to worry about the bureaucracy of the heavens. If you're a mundane person, you don't have to worry about that. If you choose to, you can get involved, but you don't have to. Unlike where a lot of Asian ones is like, no, you're involved no matter what. Like, you didn't know about this very niche, obscure law that was passed by the heavenly bureaucracy? Well, too bad. Too bad. Get fucked. Oh. Yeah, so a lot of the spirits are like vying for positions of power or for safety, or like you have like the city in the mist, aka Mistvale. So you have the city in the mist where a lot of wizards go to get their training. Like when a wizard kind of like awakens to the fact they have magical powers, a lot of them will eventually end up in the divine realm and will find their way to the city in the mist. Now, to the wizards, it's just like a really interesting city where a bunch of like cool spirits and potential familiars hang out and stuff. They don't understand the actual politics of the city, that there is a greater spirit that's in control of the city, and all the other spirits must obey the greater spirit and whatever their whims are. Now, a lot of spirits don't like that. They want to kind of be in charge, or they want to do their own thing, so they'll branch out and go other way. There's all kinds of different like hidden little cities and enclaves all throughout the divine realms. That's where the convergence points come in, because convergence points are the anchors between the divine realm and the mundane realm. This is where like the Wolverin, the Revorin, the Volpavin, the Kradoxin, the Barovin, and all that stuff will set up their kind of tribal homes, their dens and everything, their nests, because it's kind of like the meeting point between the two. Oh my god. And these places are protected usually by greater spirits, who then will have other lesser spirits come in and like, hey, I vibe with you. You know, your ideals as a greater spirit are kind of my own. I can chill out here. So they kind of like rally together and they make new little homes for themselves. Yeah, that's all throughout the divine realms. So you have the actual divine court of the divine dragons that you can go to. That's an actual thing, and they do control everything, but Meraxis doesn't want them to, like, you don't need to control Mistvale. Stop it. You don't need to control what Smiling Wolf Studios is doing. You don't need to control what Grey Wolf is doing. You don't need to control, just stop it. Let them have their freedoms. Let them be themselves. Let the spirit realm be what it is. It also gets into the whole thing of like, if Meraxis is so powerful, and he really fucking is, why doesn't he solve the problems? It's the same reason, right? He doesn't want to like turn people into just cattle. He doesn't want to turn people into sheep. It's that old saying where a lot of people don't like it, but Meraxis literally does help those that help themselves. He doesn't help the beggars. He doesn't help the people clinging on. Because he doesn't want people to be totally subservient and slave to him, right? Don't forget to burn your spirit money so your ancestors can bribe the spirit bureaucracy. That's the kind of stuff that Meraxes made sure would not happen. That's why he allows all these little kingdoms and stuff like that, right? He allows all these little like kingdoms and fiefdoms and little cities and stuff like that to spring up all throughout the spirit world, because he's like, no, I want that to happen. He goes, what I don't want to happen is like the people in the mundane world to be like, I must burn this $1 million so that my ancestors can pay for good treatment in hell. No, 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 not allowed. Stop that. Just stop that. But so his whole thing is like he doesn't want people to become dependent on him, right? He doesn't want people to be like, hey, I can't open this jar of pickles. Can you do it for me? He doesn't want that level of like dependency. He doesn't want to become the nanny. But when an actual follower of his who has tried and struggled and everything, when they're at their lowest point, he will come and lift them up. Because you have tried. You have gone to the limits of what you can do. I will assist you. I will bring you to that next level higher. It's why Meraxes has the divine mandate for the shifters. It's like, you aren't normal people. I am way less interested in managing normal people. Normal people should be allowed to live their lives and do what they please. But because you are superior to them in every way, I'm going to ask of you a task, which is the divine mandate. As above, so below. But you can't buy your way into heaven. Yeah, basically. Like, just because you are super rich and powerful doesn't mean you automatically get in the divine courts. No, you got to work your way into the divine courts. This may make me sound evil, but if I ever become the President of the United States, I wish Canada would their mouth at us. I don't know which way you are going with that, but would shut their mouths about us? I know, that's what I'm asking. I need to know. Yep. Meraxes is entirely about meritocracy. It's why one of the people he elevates to godhood was Deverick Ebonscale, who was a simple drachmal kine, right? He's a little kobold. He is one of the first people that gets elevated. In Drakor, he is actually made the marshal. So he is in control of all military forces. What Deverick Ebonscale says, the military must obey. He did that intentionally because Deverick Ebonscale was the strategist. He knew what he was doing, and as part of honoring him, he created Fort Ebonscale, which was the great star fort that protects the entryway into the capital city of Dragon's Reach. And in the Divine Courts as well, the Fort Ebonscale exists as the entryway to the Divine Courts. We actually have a picture of Fort Ebonscale. Again, not totally done. Log in. Log in. I need the Jeopardy music. Do 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 as we wait for this thing to log in. When will you log in? Right now. Yes! Fucking log in! Please! Thank you. Thank you, you bastard bitch. Okay. So again, it's not perfect. This was a map where I was just basically showing the how it functions. Because again, he's bringing a whole new level of technology for a medieval fantasy world, which is creating a star fort. That's a huge jump in technology. Upgrading map. Loading map. Okay, thank you. Now we're to loading. Oh my god. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, see, this. Again. It's not all filled in or anything like that. I'm basically showing, like, what Fort Ebonscale actually is and how it functions. Right? Like, this is the way it's laid out and functions. And I mean, this is big. I need you to understand, the scale of Fort Ebonscale is massive. The size of it is enormous. I'm showing there's farmland, stuff like that, all around it, leading up to it. There's farmland here inside of Fort Ebonscale. The actual, like, administration buildings, these are huge garrisons, right? These are big garrisons with their own internal, like, farm as well. No, they're not. But magic is real. And so if you can imagine hurling fireballs and things like that, or invading armies, this is why they have it the way that it is. Like, this is why he put in a star fort like this to begin with. Because you have that, like, it doesn't matter that it's only, most people only have arrows and ballistae and catapults and things like that. This is good against all of those as well. Right? It's like, it's not weak against that. Also, it works better against mages and things. Magic has equivalency towards it. We already talked about the God of Justice. Remember, the God of Justice was, begin with an S. Oh my god. It is enormous. I didn't want to put an exact scale on how it was, but you can kind of get the size of it by being that there's an actual, like, farm in the middle, right? There's an actual farm in the middle of the star fort. You have another star inside the middle of the star fort. And this is where, like, all of the barracks are, where the storehouses are. This is the main, like, central command building and everything. Yeah. Oh, Tarapar. So who's the bastard bitch god? Yes, the God of Justice was a piece of shit. And again, so people might be like, why? Well, why would the God of Justice be a piece of shit? Because justice is a very loose term. Each person's individualized justice is different. What you think is just, another person might not agree with, right? To one king, it was just to cut out the tongues of anybody that slandered them. To another king, only justice at the end of a blade was the only true justice. So you fought, and if you won, you were right. So because there are so many of these conflicting ideals of what justice actually is, the God of Justice was very loose in his terms and definitions and what he would do. Whereas the flip side, Orthander, was the god of the oath, duty. Like, giving your word was keeping your word, right? You can't get around that. There's not like an interpretation of like, well, you said you wouldn't do that, but you did. Like, you don't have those things. If you say you're not going to do something, you keep your word, you're not going to do it. So he was a very static god. He was a very, like, defined exactly what his duties were in the divine pantheon. But it also meant because he was so static, he was easily manipulated. My favorite is poetic justice. Oh, he gets it. He gets poetic justice, that's for sure. Counterpoint, sin chicken. Oh my god. But yeah, he gets his just desserts. His lover gets hanged, like Meraxis literally uses some of his scales to make a noose and drops her, and then yanks up and hangs her, and then he gets like eaten. That was the day the world rained blood, and whenever a god dies, it rains blood, basically because their divine realm collapses and everything. It's also another thing that Meraxis kind of struggles with. He's like thinking, like, could he have saved those people in the divine realms? What happens to the people when the divine realm collapses? Well, they're destroyed. That's what happens. That's the unfortunate nature of when a god dies, their divine realm collapses, the souls go away, right? I love the joke about how Jewish history is just a series of times when Jews technically didn't break God's commandments, and God, in response, technically doesn't smite them. Yeah, it's a funny way to look at it. But it's the same thing here, where during the war in heavens and everything like that, he sees how brutal and devastating it is, which is why he wants his pantheon to be a little more hands-off. Right? He gets called on this when Orthander shows up and is like, yo, is it Orthander or is it Orlander? I think it's Orlander. But he shows up and he's like, Meraxis basically says, like, begone, little godling. Like, this is a discussion between kings. And he's like, you're a god here, like, browbeating a normal human king. Like, come on. Like, I can't fucking help that. And like, fucking sucks to suck, doesn't it? Like, not my problem. Not my problem that he's just a normal human king. Like, you know, he's still a king, and his kingdom tried to attack my kingdom. Yeah, that gets into the whole struggles of Averroll and how that all plays out. It's pretty brutal. It is not a fun, happy time. It's not a good war. The War of the Heavens is brutal, long and drawn out, but eventually, of course, you, by process of like obviousness. Yeah, nuke versus baby. Yeah, this is totally fair. But it's like, it's the whole problem is like, the king is the nuke. He can't help it. Meraxis is the king, and he's talking to another king, right? Unascended, Megamind. So it's one of those things where it's like, it is two kings talking. This is true, but it is also a god and a normal man talking. At which, so Orlander is also right. He's like, you know, you're correct technically, but come on. But Orlander shows up and basically is like trying to like smooth things over. So at least a god is present at the same time. Blech. But yeah, so that's a lot of Meraxis' teachings are misconstrued as might makes right. Because he has that belief that if you are amongst the strong, you have the right to choose what you do. So a lot of people naturally then assume like, oh, so might makes right. Because the strong can choose not to defend the weak if they don't want to. And he's like, no, because you can also become the wicked. The whole point of the strong is to combat, thwart, and destroy the wicked. That's what the strong do. And through fighting the wicked, you then relieve the burden the wicked put on the weak, right? Proper and fair mediators are very important, yeah. So Orlander will eventually become a very trusted confidant of Meraxis. Meraxis actually does quite like Orlander, even though Orlander himself, he admits it outright. Like, okay, how many dragons did you kill then? How many of their children did you kill? How many eggs did you destroy? And Orlander confessed that he did all those things because he gave his word to the God of Justice that he would obey the God of Justice in this fight. Because he didn't realize, naively, he didn't realize just how easily, like, loosey-goosey the God of Justice was. And he says, like, I did all those things. I'm not hiding from them. I feel ashamed of them. I did those things because I honored the oath I gave. Like, I hate the fact that I chose the wrong master, basically. Like, but if I have to, like, my divine thing is I must keep my word. I gave my word that I would obey his orders. And then it turns out he was a monster. So, yeah, I fucked up. But then, again, to get out of the situation, he tries to give his word to Meraxes. And Meraxes starts pointing out immediately the problem that he has with this. So, like, so long as you swear that no harm will come to them. And he's like, I can't give that. Like, that's incredibly strict. I can't give that. I could give that oath to you right now, and then the king could turn around and cut a dude's head off. Oh, you didn't keep your word. Like, no, that does not work. Like, holy shit, that's incredibly too strict. So Meraxes' whole point is like, stop with the oath thing. Like, your oath should be not something that incredibly strict. Your oath should be of generalities and things like that. You making it as strict as you are caused this problem, right? You made it where you would strictly obey all the orders given. You should have put in caveats like, I will obey all truly just orders and things. You know what I mean? You needed to have those outs because the God of Justice turned you into a monster. He made you commit all these genocidal acts because you had to keep your word. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, eventually Orlander will become a part of the Dragon Pantheon as well, underneath Meraxes. Meraxes respects Orlander a lot, but he does kind of harp on him quite often for, like, don't be so naive. Stop being naive. Please. Please, I know you mean well. I know you're well-intentioned, but stop it. You need to think through what you're actually, like, agreeing to here. Like, I swear that I will protect the people of this. Like, don't give that swear because you don't know how long the kingdom's going to be around, and by protecting the people of it, do you mean you're going to have to do this? Are you going to have to keep that kingdom propped up against no matter what? What if that kingdom becomes a bully? And now you have said you will protect its people, so they're using you as a bludgeon, as a shield, to commit atrocities on their behalf. Don't stop thinking of these oaths. Just stop it. You need to stop. Oh, but they're good and noble people. They are for now. What if they decide that because they always have a god protecting them, they can get away with being a little bit of a shithead to their neighbors? Because they know you'll protect them. You gave your word, did you not? This is the problem. Stop doing these things. It's also why Meraxes is the way he is. By him only saying that he will all of them all the time? Yeah, exactly. And by Meraxes saying that he will help those that help themselves, he also makes sure that you cannot use Meraxes as your personal shield, as your personal sword, as your personal avenging angel. You will face the consequences of your own actions. Just because you have been a devout follower does not mean Meraxus will swoop in and solve all of your problems. If you caused the problem, you get to suffer it. Will you also protect them from themselves? Oh, yeah, that gets into a whole other can of worms. Like, are you going to become a nanny state? Oh, well, you can't be trusted because you're stupid and blah, 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 blah. Like, might hurt yourself, so I'm just going to lock you away. This is protecting you. It's like, no, just don't get into that whole thing. Just, Orlander, stop it. Think about it before you do these things. Yeah, stop writing blank checks and start writing proper contracts. Exactly. That's what Meraxus basically, like, instills in him. Eventually, Orlander does, he understands what's being asked of him. Like, he starts putting in that, so long as you uphold your honorable duty to, to defend such and such and such, that's what he starts getting into, right? He stops writing the, like, I will protect you because you are a good and noble people. He stops that. That's way too broad and way too vague. That's asking to be abused. Ooh, excuse me. Demolition Man, you can't take away people's right to be assholes. Yeah. But that's why, again, Meraxus is the way he is. You will suffer your own consequences. Oh, the consequences of your own actions. Enjoy. Enjoy suffering from your own actions. You chose this fate. You made your choice. Okay. Right, what other things do it? Don't become a slave with chains you forge yourself. But yeah, so Meraxus has that philosophy of there are three entities in existence. There are the weak, the wicked, and the strong. Right? And like I said, a lot of people think Meraxus' philosophy is might makes right. And to an extent, it is. If you are strong, you have the strength to choose for yourself. So in that sense, he is might makes right. However, the strong should combat the wicked. But they don't need to be beholden to the weak. That's Meraxus' big problem. He hates this idea that heroism means you are bound to the weak at all times. That's not true. Again, you can be a crusader that destroys the wicked. You don't have to be someone that's constantly there as a shield and a stepping mat for the weak, just because you don't want to become wicked. That's being enslaved to the weak. And his whole other point is that the weak can become strong through their choice and actions. You don't have to be strong of actual like physical prowess and strength. That's not what being strong is. No, hero, you cannot fix her. Yeah. But yeah, so the thing that Meraxus hates is this whole concept that the only way to be chivalrous is to constantly sacrifice yourself for the weak. No. The weak need to learn that they can't just do whatever they want and be entitled to the defense of the strong. The weak need to learn to stand up for themselves. They need to learn that they can become strong and they can do things on their own. That's Meraxus' entire philosophy. That's what it boils down to. Another good quote. The strong do what they will, the weak suffer what they must. And that's his whole point is like, You can be strong and you can choose, like, I could come there and protect you, or I could go destroy the thing that's threatening you instead. That's what it's like, right? That's what he wants. That's what Meraxes wants. The strong should be combating the wicked. Now, the strong then can choose, but that is the point. That's the difference. They can choose to defend the weak if they want to. They don't have to. It's not an obligation. You aren't under contract to do this. You can choose to defend the weak if you want to. That's it. That's the big difference. You aren't obligated. You aren't chained. You aren't enslaved to the weak because you are strong. The weak want you to be because they fear the strong. That's his other message, is that the weak are constantly cattle that fear the strong. So they want to chain you down. They want to take away your strength so that it can't be used against them. Because at the end of the day, the weak want to remain weak. They don't want to stand up. They want things to be taken care of. They want to be babied. They want to be pathetic losers. That's the problem. You can't enable that behavior. Woo. Man, it is so cold outside that we have snow on the ground, and it is so hot in here. What the fuck? I don't even have my my fucking heater on. Ugh. It feels gross in here. All right, I'm gonna be right back. I am hungry, and we'll continue our discussions and everything like that. Because again, I like doing this stuff. This is what I genuinely enjoy doing. I'll be right back in a second. Oh, good news, bad news. Good news, I got my food. Bad news, I think I know why I'm hot and sweaty and feel kind of weird. I feel kind of light. Like my balance is kind of wonky. I think I caught something. Great. Yeah, I think I'm getting sick. I think this is the opening salvo of like my body being like, so. Hooray! Hooray for me! I'm gonna get to go through sucky. Oh no, the answer is cancer. The rumor is a doomer. Yeah. No, he's getting down with the sickness. I know. Ugh. Yeah, it's just, again, I just feel like, you know when you have that, like, cold sweats. That's what it is. Cold sweats. That's what it is. Just like, oh. Yep, that's what Shadow Yanni posted in the, remember this was released today, the Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War. But it was going to be, like, now when it got released. So obviously couldn't do that for the stream. So we'll definitely be doing it tomorrow, though, because I am getting it. Oh. Yeah, heck yeah. View my cart. Continue to payment. Let's fucking go. Cool. Install the GOM right now. Yeah, I'll be ready for tomorrow. Or maybe if I'm not sick. We'll find out. No, I haven't done pen test, which I know is Ook's Oops ship test version, but he's using he's gonna use like the gods and stuff from Vanderlyn, which I think that sounds really fucking cool. Like a druid ship and things like that. A briar ship. That sounds really fucking neat. Oh. I swore pen test was Ook. Oh. Oh. Oh, again, I swore pen test was Ook. Hmm. Oh, they advertised it. Okay. That might be why. But I do know they want to do like Dendor ship and stuff like that as stuff in that, and I'm like, that's cool. Hmm. Yep, fair enough, Ropar. I think our main base should be fine. It's just the assault ornithopter's got to be moved, you know? We need the assault ornithopters out of the way if we want to fit the harvester and stuff in. Oh, oh, baby, I'm feeling funny, kind of grappy.
Oh my goodness sakes.
I kind of want to hear this. Hey. I want to hear this.
He ran the most powerful family in the country.
Okay. Let's listen to this. Let's watch this. This is from Michael Francesi. He was a capo in the Italian mob. This is an interesting one. And it was, who is the perfect example of a mob boss?
He ran the most powerful family in the country for 20 years. He ruled it with an iron fist, but never displayed himself publicly in that regard. Never got in trouble. Ended up dying in his home with his family around him at the age of 74, 75, 76, something like that. So that's what a true boss had to be. You work out of the shadows. You don't show yourself, you don't command attention. You do just the opposite. People don't understand that life is supposed to be a secret life. That's the whole idea. And when you blow that, you're in trouble. He ran the most
That's interesting. Cool. And I agree to it to an extent. Woofda. And because remember, House of Desire is going to be following Smiling Wolf Studios. Smiling Wolf Studios runs the criminal underworld of La Pratia at the same time. It's why La Pratia is actually one of the nicest cities in Rosentia, because Smiling Wolf Studios is keeping it clean, so to speak. Also plans an event on 1st of April. Not sure if he manages to set it up, but it promises to be pretty fun. Nice. Oh, we got more snow coming down. Also, one thing I got annoyed about with like ship tests and things like that was I didn't like that they don't want you to try to do like survival challenge mode, like Pill Ship. They kept making Pill Ship like harder and harder to do. I don't know if they went back on that eventually. But I actually really, really enjoyed, like, I want to do a round of Pill Ship. I want to, like, build myself up from nothing. Oh my god. Oh. I just feel so... Ugh. That's incredibly frustrating. As I loved the Pill Ship challenge of like building your own ship from the ground up, basically. But I was somebody that knew how to do wiring and Atmos and all that stuff, so you know that helped. Ugh. Ship Test is silly, and they hate TG, and they hate power gaming. At the same time, they remove anything that isn't geared towards PvP with guns. Yeah. That's how I always felt with Ship Test. You can't even do botany, right? What the fuck? Alright, well. I know botany can be strong, but you have to know how to do the thing. Oh. You should never balance your game around game knowledge. What I mean by that is, like, because somebody is knowledgeable and they can do things that a normal person can't, don't nerf what the knowledgeable person can do, for God's sakes. Oh my god. Alright, I'm kind of like leaning and I'm eating. I have to feel weird, so weird. Oh, by the way. So, I work on weekends, I work vendor for Little Debbie, right? And that means I go into the stores and I stock for Little Debbie on the weekends. And I gotta tell you, the new banana pudding cream pies are pretty nice. They're not the bestest ever, but they're a pretty nice one. A lot of Little Debbie stuff, I'll say this, a lot of Little Debbie stuff tastes the exact same because it's all processed sugar, right? But these banana pudding cream pies are pretty good. They're brand new, and then the Boston cream pies are pretty good. Preservatives, yeah, basically. That's like 99% of Little Debbie products. And Hostess, and don't get me wrong, it's not just Little Debbie, but it's all of them. Oh. Don't I have some new memes? I swear I put some new memes in here. Oh no, that one's just painful. That's like more like a cursed one. That's just painful. You know somebody's getting fired for that one. Ooh. After Rune's rework, Spaceman Trumpet reagent on ship test, instead of reducing bleeding, increased it permanently. What? Yeah, that's a fuck up. You know what, chat? Hang on a second. Hang on. Chat, I don't know if you guys saw this. We did this. This is from the developers of Vampire Survivors. It's actually really fucking nice. Genuinely, I actually think they did a good job on this. This is actually a lot of fun. I've never done the old man, so I kind of want to do the old man.
Age before beauty.
Age before beauty. It is a good deck builder. Yeah, you'll see how this works. It's pretty addicting. Oh, we need to do this to try to affect ourselves.
To your aid. Smart.
Oh, thank God. Like I say, I'm in trouble. Nutsack build, huh? Yep. Alright, my banana pudding. So what I'm doing, by the way, is there's a combo system where you can literally build up powers, and it builds up and increases the strength of stuff. So that's what the numbers. Not only do they cost mana costs, but it also increases your combo. Do that. Nice. Nope, don't have that yet. Yeah. This, that, this. Whew. I've never run with the old man, so his is rough because garlic is 1 point, so that's brutal.
By your side.
Okay. I'm gonna set this up for here. Okay. Yeah, I know, and that's the truth.
I say.
Oh, nice! Pushed him back. Hell yeah. So, let me get this set up for more shenaniganry.
Yes.
I'm building up my projectiles. I think I've derped him back. I think his AI is currently like, what the fuck? What am I doing? Oh, there you go. Hell yeah. Yeah, I think I derped his AI quite heavily. Oh, I want this, but I want the other version. Fine. Whatever. And then we didn't get anything here for this, did we? Nope. Cash out. If we actually get some stuff, we can get some combo stuff going, that'd be great. Yeah. Ooh. I'll come back for you. I'll come back for that.
Good luck, youngster.
Goodbye, youngster. Yeah, like I don't have a lot, so we do what we can. Eh. garbage, but we'll take it. Oh. Yeah, I'm using garlic right now. As the old man starts with, he gets garlic as his weapon to start. I'll take a couple hits. Ow, ow. Hell yeah. That's a combo. There are some ones like that you get that are lucky draws, and they combo it for you.
Smart.
Right, well, good luck to us. On 2 of them. Ow, ow, ow.
I say.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. All right. Fingers crossed. This is where the really nasty ones can come in at, because you're trying to get a really valuable chest. Ow. The bastard bitches. Ew, 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 ew. Me no like the pokey.
Yes.
Nice, so I can snowball into some crazy mana gains now. Ow. Keep the projectiles going. Yeah. I am shocked I haven't gotten any, I'm shocked I haven't gotten any of the, like, 2 mana cost or anything like that. But granted, I haven't gotten any upgraded mana either. Seem a little broken. That seem a wee bit broken. Plus, it only does it once. But if it does it multiple times, imagine me just constantly throwing daggers at him over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Good luck, youngster.
Fuck, youngster. I wish I could have gotten it on this, but look, it doesn't have a little slot on it. Look at all that mana! I can't even use it. Okay, they did think that through. Okay, I was gonna say.
To your aid.
Okay. Yeah. I should remember what the combos were to get the super weapons. Because they are actually, they're really fucking strong in this. Oh, it has vampires and survival in it. Cash out. Oh, vending machine. Duplicator immediately. Now I get the bonus ones no matter what. +1 mana. Yay. Yay. This is just such a fucking handy thing. Oh, I see. Return doesn't trigger the combo. Interesting. Ow. Rude. Very rude of you.
I must rest.
Ow. I did not mean to do that. Shit. Nicely double clicked, or double hit forward. That was unfortunate. Yes. Another real good way to say that. I done goofed on that one.
Here to avenge.
Hey, I want to see something. 8 mana!
I say,
Nice. Yeah, so this is why I meant to wait until I did that one to get the food, but we fucked up.
yes.
Nice. Wait, tome. Oh, it has 2. Hang on. And now, this should be funny. Not that we needed it, but you know. Got it, might as well use it. Again, might as well use it. Ow. Oh, there we go. Hell yeah. Ooh. What cards do I have here? Trying to remember what other one I need to get the combos to go. Oh, this one doesn't matter. We're so hurt. Yeah. See you.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, I want to pitch. Let's throw one garlic away. Oh! Hold on that for now. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, that's brutal.
Good luck, youngster.
That's gonna be rough. Fuckers. Where are the other cards? I am getting hosed on cards right now. We're getting hosed, Tommy. We're getting hosed. Okay. Ow. Protect me, old man. Oh. Oh, that's really rough. All right, fingers crossed. Yeah. I do. What I really need, what I really want, okay. Oh. Hell yeah. Yeah, get him. Oh, gonna hurt. Gonna hurt. Ew, ew. I'm gonna say it. Y'all suck. Oofta. Thank goodness. That's unfortunate. Damn. Good thing I had some armor. Okay. Ow. I'm getting hosed here pretty good. Oh, hang on, I think. I think that counts as like a thing we can combo in. Might not matter though. Oh, damn it. I could have healed even more. Oh no, we got another floor after this. Okay. Ow, my face. Can we not hit the face and say we didn't? Oofta. I'd rather risk this fight. Can't do either, okay. Because the other fight's going to be more of a pain in the ass. Oh, hell yes. Yeet. Finally getting some of the heavier hitters.
One must rest.
Not yet. It came out while we're in the middle of the stream. We're gonna be playing it tomorrow. Maybe if I'm not sick. We'll find out. Damn. Damn. Ah, I got lucky. Pushed it back. Nice. Ow. Oh, this will be fun. Watch out! Watch out! Ouch. So we'll heal 9 after the battle. Oh, thank God. That one's fun. I want to know what this one is, though. Oh, yeah, the sights. Yeah. All right, chat. Finger crossed. Here we go. I like that. I'm glad they exploded. Oh, it's 3. Brutal. need you. Because this guy's devastating. Nice. Hopefully you enjoyed playing as Claude. Push back, push back, push back, push back, please. Please, you see he does a lot of damage. No! Ow! Fuck you, that hurt! Is that 1,584? Excuse me? I appreciated that. I appreciated that damage. That was really nice. Man, how much health do you have? This could be bad. Oh, we got him! Thank God! Holy shit, that was close. Get in there. That one's a fun one. No future is a lot of fun. Okay. Get rid of you, just so we have it. Oh! Oh! That's unfortunate. Fine. Oh, that's tragic. Oh. Oh, clear this out. You couldn't, you know, just a wee bit more. Fine, fuck it. Ow. That hurt a lot. Oh, nice. I get 5 cards now. Oh, thank God.
youngster.
Oh, thank goodness. Might heal. Oh, one tragic. Okay. Bummer. Why are you defensive? Okay. Yeah. Oh my god, from near death to back up to near full. Phew. Luckiest son of a bitch alive. Oh, I mean, we can just do this.
By your side.
Whoa! The cards are spasming there. Oh! I don't know why I didn't have the death marker on him. Like, only 12? Alright, well, let's give it a shot. Save that. I'm gonna try to combo into it so we can get 60%.
Smart.
Ah, nice. Knocked her back. Oh, shit, I did that in the wrong order. Oh, there we go. 60%, baby. Oh, there we go. Bonus. I'm gonna wait and save it because we got no mana to work with. I don't know if we'll be able to win this, but we're gonna give it our best shot. Level 21 before we go into it. Ew, ew.
Yes. I must rest.
Clear myself from that one. Whoa! I didn't know that was a choice. Awesome. And it's free. So we can do this afterwards.
Nice. It's very nice.
Alright. Best luck we've got to get it done. Let's go. There she is in the background.
To your aid.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you. Oh, we bugged it. Nice. Okay. Never seen a card crack like that. That's made me nervous. Just a wee bit.
I say,
Uh-oh. I don't like that. Oh, there it is. Bastard bitch. Ow, that hurt. And we got her. Doesn't matter what we pick here, so. Because the moment we touch this, we are gonna get own zoned. Ah! Ooh. Nope. The Reaper. Seen how bad the launch marathon was? I have not. I have seen that they're desperately trying to keep it going, though. Oh, he got moved. He got moved down on the totem pole. Oh my god, you have... He just has mana.
wield my dark power.
Okay, Arca. Okay. Wield my dark power. Wield my dark power. I can't wait for this game to launch, like, fully. I think it'll be a ton of fun. I will gladly pick it up when it launches. Do it. And again, having 4 armor. Oh shit. Happened. Oh. I pushed the silly button. I didn't mean to push the silly button. Yeah, let's do you. And that shows you what you can get. Obviously, there's some secret unlocks too. But it's funny that you can do all this, like, now. The obvious ones that you can't do are, like, this, right? You can't get Furious Forest. Is what it is, right? So, because you can't get that forest, you can't get some of these other ones, like, there you go. So, yeah. Yeah. Happens. Happens. Alright, chat. Oh, options I think I go to? Yeah, options, okay. Oh, chat. Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I think I'm coming down with a boog. A boog. It's very unfortunate. So I'm going to rest up, get lots of liquids. Tomorrow we're going to try... Tomorrow the plan is Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War. That's the plan, right? We'll see how that goes. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. It is always greatly appreciated. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our discussions about the book and everything like that. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed the introduction to the demon who's been whispering in Cassandra's ear, and the death of Connor, getting his just desserts, getting his karmic retribution. In the meantime, though, chat, take care. Fantastic day. Stay safe and healthy. Get fit, get ripped. And this weekend for Saturday Showtime, we'll be watching Zootopia. And then Zootopia 2, which I've never seen before. Man. Bye for now, everyone.